This pile of parts is the Hoony H6, and this is not a review, this is more like an autopsy. Let's get started. How's it going, guys? Angus here from Muse, and as I said, this is not a review, it's actually a non-review of the Hoony H6. And it's a non-review because this machine never properly functioned. So let me set a bit of a backstory. A few weeks ago, I made a bit of a joke video on weird 3D printers I found online. And one of those weird looking machines was the Hoony H6. It had linear rails, it had a print volume of 210, 250, and it had a very low price point, which really got my attention. Also had a weird orientation with the X-axis motor, which made it look like it shouldn't function. Anyway, you guys decided that that was the most interesting machine to look at, so I requested from GearBest a Hoony H6 to review. And when it arrived, I decided to put it together on a live stream over on Maker's Muse Live. And for all you guys who are actually watching that live stream, you will know what went down. The end result was this machine was never able to print from the factory due to a serious wiring error. Anyway, a few weeks on, I've been playing around with this machine and it's all in bits because I've been trying to get it to work and I've officially given up. So I have a whole list of issues and problems with the Hoony H6 and I'm going to go through them in this video. Okay, so as I said, the Hoony H6 is an i3 style design with linear rails, but they're in weird orientations. They're on the X-axis and the Z-axis. And it has a very attractive low price point of under 300 bucks. 210, 250 build volume with an unheated bed, and it did come almost ready to go with only a few things to be connected and the wiring. The machine did have instructions, but they were quite poor. But it wouldn't be in pieces if it worked properly, so let me go through the first major issue that I encountered. The wiring. When I tried to home the Z-axis on the live stream, it wasn't responding. It would not respond to the Z-axis, and it turns out that was because they had soldered the Z-axis limit switch wires to the heat bed thermistor on the control board. This is a really cheap control board that you might see in an ANET A8 and those sort of machines, and they've actually soldered the limit switches to the back of the board, even though there is plugs on the front of the board. Yeah, quality. Anyway, they soldered it to the wrong place, so the machine could never function unless you knew what to look for and resoldered them to other points. So that's bad enough, but I thought I would try to fix it. I resoldered it and I did get the machine printing in air. However, to make it try to print properly, it's when I uncovered all the other issues. You see, all the other limit switches were also soldered to the back of the board, which is really strange. And the limit switch mounts for all axes are only secured with one screw, which means they move. I don't know how you're going to home a machine accurately when the machine can ram into them at such a speed, it pushes them out of the way before they can trigger, and then it jams. So that alone would mean every single mount would have to be redesigned, and that was just getting warmed up. That weird motor in the X-axis, yes, you were correct. When you saw that photo over on the other video, when they used a full-size NEMA 17 motor, it would have collided below where the nozzle is. So to solve that, they used a pancake stepper motor, which has less torque than a full-size NEMA 17, and of course has a different connector. So they soldered the wires for the X-axis motor to the back of the board as well. It took me all of 10 minutes to figure out a better way to put the stepper motor on some standoffs and have it in this orientation instead of underneath the board as it came, which really brings into question the engineering prowess of the person who designed this 3D printer. The next weird thing, everything was really dirty. The control interface is this sort of Xbox looking thing, and it was coated in dust, which leads me to believe that this has been sitting out in the open for a long time. This might have even been their demo printer, but they should have thought about that before sending it to someone who does 3D printing reviews on YouTube. The extruder design for the Hoony H6 is a billet aluminium CNC deal, which has been anodized. Whether or not that's real anodizing or not, I'm not sure. And it's got an integrated injection molded fan for cooling the hot end and cooling the part at the same time. That wouldn't have been a cheap mold to produce, plus it's been ultrasonically welded together. So that's an expensive part. And that's the confusion to this machine because it has linear rails, which are more expensive than linear rods. But it also has linear rods in the area where they probably shouldn't be, which is across the y-axis, and they're held in place with 3D printed mounts. But all of those issues aside, I generally try to put a positive spin on anything I do, and I thought maybe if the machine was terrible, I could take the parts and reorientate them to make a machine that's less terrible. This is as far as I got. As I mentioned, I flipped the motor on some standoffs to make it in the right direction, and the plan was to have this move up and down on the linear axis and rotate the linear rails from the z-axis to the y-axis where they're more suitable. Again, these are really nice linear rails, and I don't know where they fit into having 3D printed mounts and rods. By the way, stainless steel 8mm rods, not case hardened steel. And they don't seem to make any logical sense in the same 3D printer. However, all of that came to a standstill because of two major issues. The first is how the Z-axis motor is mounted. It uses this little sheet metal thing that has these horrible screws that go into the T-slot. When this is tightened up all the way, the motor still flops around, so it's not actually secured properly. But the real killer, and something I did kind of notice when I was first looking at the machine, is the linear rail mounting method. So what they've done is they've used screws tapped in, M3 screws tapped into the T-slot aluminium to hold the linear rails in place, but you'll notice that the T-slots have a gap kind of just a little bit smaller than the linear rail width. And I noticed that what they've done to try to keep them level is put in M8 screws, 2 on each side, tapped into the T-slot, and the rails sit flush against these screw heads, and they don't sit flush. This side is skewed slightly, and I did notice that when I first looked at the machine. So overall, this machine has possibly the worst mechanical design I have ever seen in a 3D printer, and I am furious that this exists and is being sent to customers because it does have some nice components. It is an affordable price, but it will never function as a 3D printer in the state that it arrived to me. Now, when I get things sent to me on Maker's Muse, I do have a clause in my contract which says if I deem a machine or product that is sent to me to be unfit for consumers or unsafe, I will not review it. And I've written back to GearBest saying that they have to get back in touch with Hoony and massively improve this product or remove it off their product listing, and I will not be reviewing it. It's only happened a few times in the past. I've had a laser system sent to me that I refused to review because it was too dangerous, and there's been a few other small products I won't mention, but overall, this is a very rare occurrence, and I am furious that this is a product that's for sale because this will do nothing but discourage newcomers to the amazing community that is 3D printing. If you receive this, for a start, how are you going to know that the board is wired wrong? And good luck ever getting support because, I get support because I'm a massive channel on YouTube. But if you just bought this machine on your own, you got no chance. And the saving grace for cheap kits would usually be to buy it for the parts. I can't even say that for this machine. If you want the linear rails, which are the only good part, in my opinion, in this whole kit, GearBest actually sell them separately. So I'll put a link in the description to buy those if you want to get linear rails for another project. They work really well. Just make sure they don't come off the end because then all the little balls fall out. You don't do that with linear rails. But the rest is pretty much worthless. So that's going to do it for this video. As I said, this is not a review. This machine never functioned for me. It is basically an autopsy, and I hope this helps you make a good choice. However, if you are looking for a good 3D printer under $300, I do have a video here with machines that I do recommend. And also, I'm also just testing from GearBest the Ender 3, which did have a little issue with one of the PTFE couplers, but I replaced that and it's producing fantastic prints. So if you're going to look at a new machine at a budget, look out for a review from that very soon, but I would not touch this. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video here on Maker's Muse. I aim to empower your creativity through technology, and I hope I have done that today. I look forward to seeing you again very shortly here on Maker's Muse. Catch you later, guys. Bye.